Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Monday, November 11th, 2024. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Monday, everyone, and happy Veterans Day. Thank you very much for all you veterans for everything you've done for our country, and thank you for serving us proudly and valiantly. Here's a look at the ES in the daily time frame here. Very narrow range of price action so far here heading into the RTH Open. Just 33% of ADR. It is bullish overall. 23.75 points of range at the moment. And this is following a super high range week of price action in the previous week. Big time strength here, new all-time highs. The expectation early on this week is for more modest price action Monday, Tuesday with an upward bias. Wednesday we do have CPI data, so we're going to get inflation data this week. CPI Wednesday, PPI on Thursday, and that could provide additional volatility here later on in the week. We also get Fed Chair Powell speaking Thursday afternoon, which could provide, again, additional volatility later on this week. But upward bias here overall. Any pullback could still be a buying opportunity here for these markets. Not anticipating a super high range week, but anticipating a week of strength overall as this market continues to hang on post-election. So any pullback could still be a buying opportunity as this market continues to show strength. At some point, we might see a counter trend rotation here that develops in this market, and that could be an opportunity to pick it up after weakness for another rotation to new highs. We're looking for a continuation towards 6,200 up above. All right, looking at the ES. The ES, or rather the NQ. The NQ here, 2-day narrow range right now. The NQ trading 28% of average range at the moment. Still showing strength here at the upper end of the range. Again, a very bullish move here last week. Anticipating a bullish week this week, but not super high volatility, especially early on in the week. Wednesday, Thursday, we will get inflation data that could provide some additional volatility. Like the ES here, if we were to see some sort of counter trend move here, that could provide an opportunity for bulls to pick it up and rotate this thing back to the upside. Overall, this market remains quite strong and could be working its way toward 22,000 up above. Looking at crude oil down right now about 2 1/3% at the moment. 68.74 is the current price. One thing we've noted before is we continue to remain in a downtrending environment here for crude. This was a day one high for the month of October, but we also mentioned that could be a quarterly high for Q4. We are in kind of the most bearish seasonality for crude oil right now, which takes us into the middle of December, and any pullback could be a selling opportunity until proven otherwise. We also noted that 72.40 continues to remain a major area of resistance. It tried prices above there for 3 sessions and couldn't stay, and we've seen some selling pressure here over the last couple of days now. Now overall, we could be looking at a return back toward the key range low here of 66.34. We could be looking at a push into lows below 65 into the previous year's low here. That's 64 and change. If we did get that low, that might be about where we start to see a little bit of a bounce down the road. So at the moment, showing some signs of weakness here. Intraday, we are seeing selling pressure since about 3 in the morning, with very bearish directional bias at the moment. Of course, any bounce could still be a selling opportunity until proven otherwise for crude oil. Looking at gold futures, gold right now down 1.2% at the moment. We mentioned that this day down was a huge failure for gold. It looked like this thing was a defensive play into election day, and on election day, a massive release of energy to the downside, a big downside break at the previous month's midpoint. Mentioned that any pullback into that midpoint from below could allow bears to defend for another rotation down into the previous month's low and into the naked FOMC key level at 25.9440. That's your FOMC from September 18th. could be looking at further selling pressure into that target down below. So again, giving it up here, and 2710 going to continue to be a key overhead resistance level with a downward bias at this time. Looking at the YM right now 211 points of range right now. That's 39% of ADR. Huge high range week last week. Big time push to the upside here. Very similar to the ES and the NQ. Any pullback could still be a buying opportunity as this market continues to work its way higher. Even if we were to see a little bit of selling pressure back toward 43K, for example, that could be a buying opportunity moving forward. Looking at Bitcoin. Bitcoin with a huge gap and run. Was up about 7+% here, has backed off of that just a little bit off the highs of the day in the last few minutes here. 83,205 is the high of the day, 83,205. This is something we mentioned here for really the last couple of weeks here, was that this market looks poised for a push higher. On election day, we mentioned that this right here, or the Wednesday after election day, that is likely a transition day through 74,000. And we were likely headed to 80,000 and 92,285. 92,285 is the key range target up above. This is a target that we've had on the books here since about August. Big key range right here. Impulse sell-off, a bounce back, and had some sideways price action with an upward bias here. We finally got a big time break through the top of that range. We got a break through the top of the larger rectangular range. That right there was a transition day with an upward bias that was going to likely take us to the 100% target here. That's 92,285. Any pullback could still be a buying opportunity for a continuation toward that target. And like I've mentioned before, that is a near-term Q4 target, but we likely have even more upside ahead to six figures up above. 100,000 and beyond could still be in play. We've looked at this thing from a longer term standpoint, and we've gotten targets that can easily take us to 110,000 up ahead. We have 125 targets and even into 130K. So this thing could really explode to the upside up ahead. We were looking for Q4 to be a very bullish quarter for Bitcoin, and so far it's played out very nicely here in the first part. Really, this transition day opens things up to the upside. Any pullback could be a buying opportunity, but 92,285 is the next near-term target to the upside. Any pullback could be a buying opportunity for continuation into that target. Right now, Ethereum is up the most of these markets right now. This market right now up 7.5%, gapping up in Sunday night trading here, a big time break to the upside. This is when we mentioned here last week that, man, if this thing can get through 2,800, it really begins to open things up for a quick move to 3,400 and then a continuation to 4,000. If this thing makes a 3 market structure distribution move here to the upside, we could be looking as high as 4,600 up ahead. So against Bitcoin, which is at new all-time highs, this thing has lagged tremendously. All-time highs here is 4,900. So this thing has lagged tremendously, especially when it was trading about 2,500 here. So I mentioned before here that this likely has the most to gain percentage-wise up ahead and could be playing some major catch-up. So this was a major transition day through 2,800. Opens up 3,400 here and 4,000 up ahead. Already trading here 3,200 this morning, as high, let's see, as high as about 3,250. Today's high 32 and change. So again, we could be looking at much more upside up ahead here with a continuation toward 4,000 up ahead. So big time transition day through 2,800. Again, like Bitcoin, like some of these markets here, if any pullback occurs, we could be looking at buying opportunities for a continuation to the upside. This market has now taken year-to-date VWAP and the 200-day moving average bid. It could come back, sit on those major value levels and bounce off of them for a continuation up. Lastly, this is your previous distribution here from 2,800 up to 4,000. That range right there. to build a whole box below that range and then get a recovery of the bottom of that range, opens up and push across the range. So very, very clear path to 4,000 up ahead. Any pullback could be a buying opportunity for ETH bulls. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out here heading into the new week of trading. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.